Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to our unit on multiplying and dividing integers. Today we are going to continue working on our foldable that we started a couple days ago in class. So I want you to open up your 5-subject notebook to this page. A lot of you glued it in. Maybe some of you are waiting on getting your 5-subject notebook. So now we should be opening up to this page. As you recall that we already finished these adding and subtracting foldables, and now we're going to be doing the bottom two, which is your multiplying and dividing integers. So we're going to get started. So the first one that we're going to talk about is multiplying integers. So what I want you to do is on your foldables, if you can see, oh, if I can get it, there we go. I would like you to put your multiplying integers as you're looking at your paper right here on my paper. That's your multiplying integers. I want you to title that on the outside. So as you're looking at it, it's your bottom left-hand flap. So you're going to title that multiplying integers. Then, as you open up the flap, our very first slide, this one that we're working on right here, is going to be right underneath it. So you can see this is the flap, not this part. This is where your examples are going to go. This part right here, right underneath. Alright, so on that piece of paper, you are going to write the following statements. You're going to write negative times negative equals positive. So a negative number times another negative number is going to equal a positive number. The next statement is a negative number times a positive number is equal to another negative number. And then its opposite, it's positive times a negative number is also equal to a negative number. So if the signs are different and you are multiplying, the sign will always be negative. So a negative times positive or positive times a negative, it will always equal a negative number. And then the last statement is a positive times a positive equal to positive. We should be really good with this since we all know our basic math and arithmetic facts. So now on your paper, you're going to open it up, ready on the flap right here. This is where you're going to write examples. If you can see on mine, I know not super well, but you're going to write examples. Exactly what we write on the page, on the slide here. So examples, and then our first example goes along with negative times negative. Oh, no it doesn't. Okay, so sorry about that. So our first example is a positive times a negative. So positive 3 times negative 2 is equal to negative 6. The next example is a negative times a negative. So negative 4 times negative 4 is equal to a positive 16. Because the signs are the same, it is positive. Our next example is a negative 10 times 4 is a negative 40. So the signs are different. That means that it's a negative number. And finally, 8 times 3, we all know these facts. 8 times 3 is equal to 24. So these are the examples that I want you to write down on your multiplying integers flap. And this is what you can refer back to as we're doing activities throughout the day and to practice for our quiz that's coming up. So our next flap and our last flap that we're doing is dividing integers. So on our papers, on our folders, it's on this side. As you're looking at it, it's the bottom right as you're looking at your paper. And on the outside, you're going to write dividing integers, just like I wrote on mine. And then as you open up the flap, our first slide right here is going to go right behind it. So not on the flap. This is where, no, this flap, not on the flap. This is where our examples are going, right underneath it. So our division is just like multiplication, that a negative divided by a negative number is always positive. So once again, if the signs are the same, it is positive, and if the signs are different, it is negative. So if you remember one for multiplying and dividing, you'll remember both of them. So once again, a negative divided by a positive is always a negative number, and a positive divided by a negative is also always a negative number. And then, as we all know already, a positive divided by a positive number equals another positive number. On the last flap, the only part that you have left to write, you're going to write down examples. Our first example is negative 10 divided by negative 2. So a negative divided by a negative, negative 10 divided by negative 2 is equal to positive 5. Then our next example is negative 12 divided by 2. So a negative divided by a positive, which is a negative number, which is negative 6. So negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. 16 divided by negative 4. So a positive divided by a negative, we know it's going to be a negative number as our answer. So 16 divided by 4 is 4, and it's a negative 4 because we're dividing by a negative number. And last but not least, we have 100 divided by 10, which is equal to 10. Because it's all positive, the answer is going to be positive. So that's our last slide and last part of our mini lesson today. So now I want you to get started on the activity that we have in class. Thank you so much for being good active listeners, and I'll see you later. Bye.